I'm Noah Johnson. I am a sophomore. It's kind of a long story. I was born in Chicago. I lived there for a couple of years. Then it moved into Madison, Wisconsin. Then moved back to Chicago, and then ended up moving to San Antonio, Texas for about 5 or 6 months. Stayed with my cousins there. Then moved back to Chicago, and then moved out to a little small town called DeMont, Indiana. That was the end of middle school, yeah, like last year middle school. And then I just stayed out in Indiana, and now I'm in Bell State, obviously. I started playing trombone in 6th grade, and I've stuck with that since. I played other instruments too, played trumpet, tuba, a bunch of other stuff. It just depends on the mood. I can listen to everything. I guess my least favorite genre would be country, and that's just kind of any bad experience I've had. There's always been country music or like that. I guess that like style in the background. I guess that kind of messes with me psychologically. But I mean, I really like. If I had to pick, I really like orchestral music. When I say that, I mean like you listen to like when you have like those movie trailers coming out and stuff like that. I like listening to like that music that like hypes you up for like a movie or some TV or video game, that kind of stuff. I really like rock, like Avenged Sevenfold. It kind of get not quite screamo, but it kind of gets in that territory a little bit. And then I guess I would have to say 90s rap. I'm talking about some Will Smith, you know. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. Not a big fan of today's rap, but yeah, I would definitely say with the culture. In Chicago, I listen to more like hip hop, and when I was in Wisconsin, I honestly listened to a lot of orchestral stuff when I was living in Wisconsin. I didn't really get introduced to like a music program, but a lot of the teachers at the school I went to, like they always were playing music, stuff like that. A lot of stuff they listened to was orchestral stuff. And then when I lived in San Antonio, Texas, a lot of the music was like, it was kind of country, but it was kind of mariachi band. It really had like a southwestern vibe to it. And then I really didn't get into like rock and heavy metal until I moved out into DeMont, Indiana, and that was a lot of me playing there was country. So I was like, I don't like this guy. I gotta find something else that I like that, you know, just fit in the culture, you know. So.
Ball State band.
Yeah, I'm in jazz ensemble. I'm in campus band right now. Last year I was in way too many bands. I was in two jazz combos, and then jazz twos. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I know how to play a lot. I would say I know how to play a lot, but there's only a few I know how to play well. Instruments I play well, obviously trombone. I've been playing that since 6th grade. Euphonium / baritone, they're kind of the same thing. Been playing that since 8th grade. I got introduced to tuba my junior and senior year of high school. I played string bass my junior and senior year of high school. I dabble with guitar a little bit. I just read tabs. I'm not good at it. I mean, I can play Smoke on the Water off of memory, and some, you know, just like those basic tunes. Play trumpet. I started playing trumpet freshman year. I'm pretty decent at it. I haven't played in like 2 years. I also play slide trumpet. For if you don't know what that is, it's a trumpet, but you have a trombone and a trumpet, and like they had a baby and be a soprano trombone, and a little tiny instrument. I know how to play piano. I am awful at it, and I guess if you'd say vocal, I do sing a lot. You probably hear me in my room singing all the time, honestly. Yeah. I spend a lot of time. I listen to other people's music and I'll edit it to what I I want it to be, or I'll take. I'm actually working on a project right now. There's a song called "The Last of Us," and it's a cello and piano, and I'm writing lyrics for it. I'm editing some of the chords and stuff like that to make it a little bit more my style.
Mm.
But I would say I spend more time editing music than creating my own. But I mean, that's just I'm getting into that with my major in MMP, and all the time I'm editing stuff with recording and stuff like that. So I'm in the studios recording people rapping and just editing just how they sound and the kind of background and stuff like that. Things that inspired me. Well, I came into the School of Music with music education, and that was just because my band director in high school, he really pushed me to be a music ed and like inspired me to continue with music, but also not what I wanted to do. So I switched to MMP this semester. Actually, it was last semester. Sorry. Besides having with Ball State, you have certain like curriculum you have to keep with. You have to take private lessons and stuff like that for 2 years, and you have to maintain like just being able to be a good musician. I guess that would kind of be my motivation. As much as I love trombone, it's not what like my focus is. But I guess my primary motivation is just to become a better musician in like the grand scheme of things. Like I want to be like one of those guys they call to doing gigs and stuff like that, especially in indie. I'm not trying to be the best, that's never my goal to be like the best trombone player. But I want to be. It's like my inspiration is to be like J.J. Johnson. He's a famous trombone player, and not be him, make my own style, but emulate some of the stuff that he does and kind of learn from his failures and successes, stuff like that. Well, it depends what kind of music I'm playing. If I'm playing, as I love orchestral music, it sounds fantastic. But as a trombone player in an orchestra, it is the worst. it is the worst. It's the most boring thing. Like it kind of comes down to depending on who the composer is, and especially during the time period what the music was made in, because trombone was not really. It was more of a church type of instrument. Actually, it wasn't really in the orchestras until later on. But when I'm playing like orchestral music, I get bored. I get bored. I just kind of space out and listen to everything else that's going on. Honestly, so I'm not really paying attention to how I'm playing. I'm just kind of like, oh, that sounds really cool. The trumpets are doing a little fanfare thing. Got the violins doing like, their own thing. You got the bass line with the tubas. But when it comes to jazz, that's where I'm at. I really love jazz music. I do a lot of improv with trombone, and kind of gets my heart racing and stuff like that. Cause I'm like, I'm out here out here, just trying to emulate other people. And my trombone professor, Freddie Mendoza, is a great guy, very good trombone player. If you have a chance to check him out, he's got a lot of stuff on YouTube, and you actually get on there and talk to him. He's a really good person to talk to. But yeah, jazz really, really excites me. It allows you to make mistakes and own up to those mistakes and still make it sound good. Like you could be playing a F minor blues, and you can play some wrong notes out of the scale, but as long as you play it confidently, and it makes it seem like you know what you're doing, because jazz really allows you to, I guess, out of all the genres and types of music, it really allows you to personalize it, I guess. For me, just with the individuality of what you can do with the sounds and the different chords and all that kind of stuff, it makes you can do whatever you want to do with it. The plight of every music student. Hours upon hours of just being in the practice room. Especially, I'm actually preparing. I have what we call juries in school of music. I'm preparing a piece for that, and I'm preparing all the different, all 48, actually more than 48 different, all the thousands of scales and stuff like that. A lot of the time it's going in the practice room and saying, this is what needs to get done, and like I need to work on measures 8 through 40, and it's something I'm actually working on with a good practice technique. I'm working on this with my trombone professors. I have two. You know, just making good practice room like techniques, and like just going in there, focusing on one thing. And a lot of it is, you know, taking a break, because a lot of times you go in the practice room for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, and you're trying to work on a certain lick, you can't get it, and you kind of got to take a break, come back to it, you know, identify what the problem is. Like maybe you can't play a certain interval, you can't play an F to B flat, you can't get that right for some reason. You go into it, you isolate the issue, you kind of iron it out in different ways, like playing through these different scales, just working on that like specific interval, that kind of stuff. And a lot of it's just kind of hard work and determination, and how motivated you are when it comes to where you want your piece to be. Because a lot of times, because I'm playing orchestral stuff, personally, I don't give my 100%. I kind of go for like a 90% on it. I would say don't tell anybody, but that's, you know, you're recording. But like when it comes to jazz pieces and stuff like that, I always go 120% on it. That's just because that's my style of music and stuff like that. Yeah, it just kind of comes down to hard work and how much you're willing to put into it and what you want the final product to sound like. I usually drink a lot of water before. I try to get a lot of sleep the night before if I'm doing a performance. One thing that I do not do is, like, I realized this during high school, anything that you're trying to make some last minute changes, like right before you perform, it's not going to happen in the performance. So usually what I take is the day before my performance, whatever the final product is, what it's going to be that last day. So there's a certain link that I know I still haven't quite gotten 100% right, like I can get it 80% right. I know that going into, I'm not going to let bog me down, but I know going into the actual performance that this is an issue that might happen, just kind of keep going through it. But honestly, before any performance, I spend a lot of time playing video games and just not thinking about, oh, I'm going to be playing like the E flat wave up with the staff or something like that. I'm not going to be thinking about the music at all. I'm just going to go into the performance, look at it, and depending on how much practice I got with that piece of music before, I'll feel confident on my abilities and whether or not to play. And it kind of comes down to just relaxing, because a lot of people in school music, I would say a lot, I wouldn't say all of them, they're there to support you and your your music endeavors and stuff like that. They're trying to give you good feedback. So no matter how tense the environment may seem, they're all the professors and all the people who have to judge you. They're really there to support you and want you to be a better musician. So that also eases a very tense situation if you're playing in front of people. But yeah, just kind of try to relax a lot and soak in the environment and try to feel the vibe that the audience is, whether it's like judges or if it's, you know, grandma, trying to feel the vibe of the audience and work with that. So.
All right, that's all I got, man. Thank you.
No problem.